All right. Let's get to this review then, shall we? Oh, yeah. What's happening, everybody? And welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, The Big Rob Theory, and today I have a great review planned out for you. I mean, hopefully, you think it's great. Today, I'm reviewing the newest movie in the DC universe that has come out, The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn. All right, so before I get to the review of this movie, I have to say that the one from 2016 was actually pretty good. I did not hate it. I also didn't really love it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because it was just a fun film. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. The story and plot was kind of wackadoo, it was a little bit out there and all over the place and kind of had you be like, what the hell, a couple times. But overall, I enjoyed it, man. Like it was fun, and I really liked Will Smith's version of Deadshot. Was phenomenal. Jared Leto's Joker, aside from popular opinion, I liked it. I liked the new take on Joker. I'm always a fan of whenever characters get a different version of themselves. Hell, the multiverse, hello. But just in general, like the non-traditional form of that character. Just because you get to see the character in a different way, and who knows, you might actually end up liking it a little bit more. I will say, this movie, far better than the first one. Far better. James Gunn, I have to say, you set a great precedent for DC movies. I think going forward, DC and Warner Brothers might be using more Marvel directors, because the thing that I will say, I love DC more than Marvel. Only because when I was growing up, I read more DC comics than Marvel comics. That's it. That's honestly it. I'm not saying that DC is better than Marvel. I'm just saying I love DC more than Marvel because of what I grew up on. Like The Flash was one of the first superheroes that I was personally introduced to and that I read a lot of his comics and I fell in love with because I just love the idea of super speed and time travel and throwing lightning bolts and lightning punches and all this different, and the evil speedsters, It's just cool. It's a great concept. Then you have characters like Shang-Chi and Thor and Star-Lord and all these and different people in Marvel that are really dope too. My point with that is that I love both franchises. So the fact that we have a director from Marvel take on a movie in DC and it do so well speaks wonders. It just proves that DC can do it, man. DC can be on par with Marvel. You just got to get a better direction. That's all it is. So from the jump of this movie, I knew that they meant business, bro. Pete Davidson has made his way as an iconic figure in media, and the fact that his character just bit the dust within the first 10 minutes of the movie made me realize, well, damn, they went for it. And an iconic Flash villain, Captain Boomerang. Bam, right out the gate. I'm like, oh, okay. So not only do we have an iconic DC villain from The Flash just get roasted, but a returning character, no less, gets roasted. That's another thing to me that I was like, okay, so this is the squad. This is the part of the Suicide Squad that immediately was just like a scapegoat. They were scapegoats, which they were. I was really disappointed to see that Will Smith did not return, but I love Idris Elba's own character because I actually was informed that Idris Elba was supposed to play Deadshot, but they gave him a character kind of like Deadshot, Bloodsport, but it was his own version of, it was his own character. So I like the fact that they did that with Idris Elba, and he really just nailed that role and hit it out of the park. This cast was really well done too. Like the casting was phenomenal. Man. You have, of course, Margot Robbie returning as Harley Quinn. You have John Cena, who is known as Peacemaker in this film. We get the return of Joel Kinnaman as Agent Rick Flag. One of my actual favorite people to do voice acting, Nathan Fillion, was TDK, but, obviously did not make it to the second act of the movie. And of course, you have the infamous Viola Davis, who I'm just absolutely in love with. Like, this woman is just phenomenal in anything she does, but they could not have picked a better person to play Amanda Waller. That is her. That is her. Amanda Waller is Viola Davis, and Viola Davis is Amanda Waller. That she nails that role like no one I've ever seen. Overall, this movie is written really, really well. Like, obviously, there are some nuances with the movie. There are some, like, one-liners and little jokes that they threw in that I was kind of like, really? Like, you really went with that? But, okay. It was just so quick that it didn't really matter that much to me. It didn't take away from the overall theme and motif of the movie. It was just ill-placed, but as I said, that is few and far between for this 2-hour movie. The action in this movie is through the freaking roof. Like, I mean, they really went for it with this movie. I'm talking, you see people's heads get exploded. You see King Shark rip a man in half, and I mean literally rip this man in half to where you see his guts and everything, and I love it. I love the blood and gore. I love it. Call me weird if you want. I don't care. This is great. This movie really had me invested the entire time. Even with the nuances that I had. Didn't really matter to me. I was still there like, what a wonderful film. This is glorious. You guys having a good time? I'm having a great time. Seeing this version of the Suicide Squad and then looking back at the other Suicide Squad. This morning I looked at just clips of the previous Suicide Squad, and wow. Yes, I said I love the movie, but it's crazy to see how much better this one is overall between the acting, the action, the story, and the cinematography. I will say though that James Gunn, Anthony and I made a joke about it. Well, he made a joke about it, and I died laughing. He loves his like superhero walks, like the poses. Like there were 3 or 4 times where they're just there, like. Like the badass walks, it's just funny. But I can't even front. I kind of like those walks, It kind of adds this like nice element to the movie. I can't really put the word for it, but just it gives you a little bit of goosebumps because it's like a superhero thing. It's an iconic superhero thing to do, like a badass slow walk away from an explosion, or a badass walk in the rain, or a badass walk up until you get to the person you're supposed to fight. It's just a thing that happens in movies and TV shows with superheroes. And yes, it was funny to see how many times he did it, and it's just like, yeah, you put this in that movie, and you put a lot of them in there, but it's okay. We like it. We're here for it. I will say, though, I have seen that where people are saying that this is the best DC movie to date. Now, that's where I kind of have to disagree. Don't get me wrong, this movie is phenomenal, but I wouldn't consider it the best DC movie to date. If I had to choose a best DC movie, this is in the runnings, but there's Man of Steel, there's Shazam, there's Wonder Woman, which, to be completely frank, the first Wonder Woman was, for a while, my favorite DC movie because of how well done it was. And the fact that we get like this leading lady, Gal Gadot, who actually fits the Wonder Woman role to a T. Not just because she's insanely hot, which she is, but she also, just that accent and just the way how she portrays Diana is phenomenal. So, I don't know, there's many DC movies that are really good. I would say the animated DC movies are really where it's at, but cinematic-wise, DC is really, really stepping it up, and going forward, I really hope that if they don't just have a Marvel director, but they have a Marvel like consultant or something that will be in the studio or on set to help with the DC franchise, because this movie proves that DC can really do phenomenal movies. They've done really good movies up until this point, and this just blew it out of the water a little bit because it was just that good. I won't say that it is the best DC movie today, but it is one of the better DC movies, 100%. It's funny, I saw my boy Darnell review this movie, and he said something really funny that I actually have to agree with. It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy, but on Earth. That is a great quote from Darnell Ingram. If you haven't seen any of his videos or even checked out his channel, go over to his channel. Go over to his channel right now. It is Rejected Heroes Media. That comment just got me. It sent me, man, because it's the truth. He's right. He really is right. It is like the Guardians of the Galaxy, just on Earth, and obviously in the DC universe. It's crazy. Like, and the Guardians of the Galaxy films are really good too. James Gunn just proves that he is just a great director. You know, this movie was really great. And I definitely recommend that if you're a DC fan, watch this movie. If you saw the first Suicide Squad, please watch this movie because you will be that much more happy with this one. You know, I could go on and on about this movie, but I don't want to, I don't want to sound like, I'm riding this movie, because of how much I love it. But, as I said, there were some nuances I had with the movie, but overall, a great movie, great watch, very fun. It is funny, and you will enjoy yourself while watching this movie. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your precious day to watch this video. Please like and comment down below with your thoughts. If you've seen the movie already, let me know what you thought about the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, well, sorry for spoiling it for you. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and hit that bell so that you can get a notification anytime this face puts out a new video. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Really appreciate it. Until the next one.